Right, folks, sit tight, because the UK government has announced it's spending £2.5 billion, that's right, £2.5 billion on something they're calling DRIVE35, which honestly sounds like a sat-nav instruction. In 35 years, take a U-turn. But no, this is actually serious money being thrown at zero-emission vehicles, and I'm here to explain why you should care. Or at least pretend to when the power goes out, because the grid can't keep up. So what is this grand plan? DRIVE35 is the government's shiny new modern industrial strategy, which is politician speak for we have no actual industry left, but we'd like to make it look modern. They're pouring £2 billion into the automotive sector until 2030. Plus another £500 million for R&D through to 2035. That's £2.5 billion total. Or if you prefer government accounting, about 3 HS2 stations that won't be built. The idea is to make the UK a world leader in zero-emission vehicle production. Gigafactories, battery plants, green jobs, all the buzzwords you need to win votes from people who've never tried charging a car on a Scottish moor in January. Apparently, in 2024, the car industry added £21.4 billion to the economy and employed 132,000 people. So the government says, let's make it green, because nothing says British jobs like sending rare earth mining jobs to China and hoping we get the batteries back on time. DRIVE35 isn't one pot of money you can nick at once. It's competitions, yes, like the X Factor, but with less singing and more lobbying. Big companies, startups, all fighting for a slice of the pie. They'll build battery plants, supply chains, fancy research projects. And because this is Britain, half of it will probably be given to consultants who'll produce a 600-page PDF titled Why We Can't Actually Build Anything. Government says it's building on the success of the Automotive Transformation Fund, ATF, and the Advanced Propulsion Centre, APC, which apparently have leveraged over £6 billion in private investment before, which is impressive until you remember that most of that money went on fancy PowerPoint decks, CFO bonuses, consultants who know how to say sustainable without laughing. Here's the thing they don't shout about. DBT has earmarked over £300 million to specific companies already, which sounds like we've already decided who's winning these competitions before they even start. Competition, but only if you know the minister's WhatsApp. And there's £100 million in capital funding going straight through the ATF. So in normal English, the government picks winners and losers, but as usual, you're not one of them. The Trade Secretary says this is all part of a big plan, including securing a landmark trade deal with the US to lower tariffs for UK car makers. Which is great, except US car makers are not exactly panicking about our exports. Most British buyers want German cars anyway, but sure, drop the tariffs, let Ford F-150s flood Harrogate, and good luck parking them in Tesco. He also bragged about lowering electricity prices as part of this strategy, which is funny because Britain still has some of the highest energy prices in Europe. Lower here means slightly less ruinous. So good luck charging all those new zero-emission cars without a second mortgage. And when they talk about updating the ZEV mandate to force companies to sell more electric cars, guess who pays for that? Hint, not the politicians. Unless they get a ministerial Tesla. And yes, they say it'll significantly reduce CO2 emissions by 2035. Honestly, I'll be lucky to have a kettle that works by 2035. And the UK's total emissions are, 1% of global CO2? But don't worry, the other 99% will definitely listen once Britain leads the way by banning your diesel Mondeo. So that's DRIVE35, £2.5 billion of your money given out in competitions you'll never enter to companies that'll promise green jobs and deliver press releases. Meanwhile, you're still trying to get a GP appointment and the bin men are still on strike. But hey, At least your next car will be zero emissions if you can afford it. Stick around to the end, folks, because I'm going to show you exactly how the government writes these announcements so you don't notice the fine print. Actually, just kidding. They don't bother with fine print anymore. They know you're too busy working to pay for it all. All right. If you enjoyed me taking the mick out of £2.5 billion of your money being vaporised in the name of progress, hit that like button, subscribe for more no-nonsense, no-spin breakdowns, and leave a comment below. Tell me what you'd spend £2.5 billion on instead. Personally, I'd settle for filling the potholes. Cheers, everyone. See you next time.